Today we're going to compare a first generation R1T Quad to a second generation R1T Quad. Just real quick, I want to kind of show you some of the differences. We'll start right up here at the front. First off, the lighting is different. So the second generation, we'll go see that in a second, is different than this first generation. These lights are different. This light is different. You got the frunk space is different. So coming looking at this first generation, you got the net up front, and we got these little aftermarket, I think these are maybe from T-Wraps, but I'm not sure. Hold your grocery bags. That's gone in the second generation. We'll see that. You can tell where this goes all the way back to the seal on the first generation. Second generation, it's bumped out by maybe about 3 inches. And then the basement, so this is a bifold. I know this has gone through a couple iterations. We only have one magnet, some of them had 2. But you got a pretty good sized basement in this first generation as well. So now let's jump over to the second gen, take a look at it. Now we're here at the second gen. Let's take a look at how it looks under here. The button's in the exact same spot as it has been, but as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, it goes all the way up. So as it's charging now, it's almost like the cell signal on your phone. You got bars. Now as it's charging, it can actually walk its way all the way up. If we come and look inside here, you don't have the bungee net here any longer. This is bumped out. That's probably even more than 3 inches now that I look at it again. And in place of this big net, they give you these 2 little shoe cover spots. It's not horrible, but you know, anyway. And now this is not divided any longer. It doesn't fold. It just goes back, sits in a tray there. And well, we've already moved our grocery bags over, but that's the plastic. So you can tell you got this intrusion here that you didn't have before. These items are what used to be in the doors to the gear tunnel. Now they've moved those up here, freeing up the space on the gear tunnel, which we'll also get to that in a minute. But there's really nothing to show here. That's kind of the same. So that's just where we keep our reusable grocery bags. What's nice, this is flippable. So if you don't want the carpet side, if you want the plastic side, you could totally do that. Maybe a little bit of traction there. I kind of like the carpet side, so I'm just going to flip it back. So that was something we didn't have before. Now we do kind of have some options. All right, let's take a look at the driver's side. Real quick, I'm just going to show you the differences between a first generation charge door, which that's the, what, J1772 that we've had forever now with the flip down for the fast charge. That's what we've had. Let's take a look at what they've done different for the second gen. Here we are at the second gen now. The operation's the same. This one maybe does appear a little bit slower, but maybe that's all in my mind. The first generation had the like halo light all the way around. The second gen just has a light up top here. I don't feel like that's any sort of problem, but the big thing is the obvious thing. We now have native NACS charging, which is so much cleaner, so much smaller. And we have an eject here, which is also a welcome change. So operation is pretty much still the same, but they did clean this whole area up, and I am a fan of the Tesla charging network, so I'm glad to have that now native and no adapters. With the first generation quad, we all know you got the yellow highlights as far as the calipers, and then the yellow behind the badging. That now has gone to blue in the second generation. And the first generation has a camera here in this wheel molding. That's gone in the second generation. Up here, you've got 2 cameras in the mirror. Now all 3 are in the mirror on the second generation. We'll pop the door. That's one thing I noticed right off the bat, is this is a very mechanical. It's pulling like a cable or something. It's a mechanical connection, whereas that is electrical. You come inside, Rivian does keep the torch. That's going to stay the same from first to second generation. Another big thing you'll notice is the second generation has a push button to get out, whereas this has an old-fashioned door handle. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It works perfectly fine. The layout inside is all pretty much the same with all the same controls and things here. They did reshape the floor mat a little bit on the first generation. It's a bigger cutout now. I don't know if they had a problem like Toyota had years ago where there was a hang up with the throttle or something, but that is reshaped. So there is no reusing this first generation to the second generation, supposedly. I haven't tried it, but that's what they say. And these accent pieces, this kind of satin metal look, over in the second generation, what we're going to see over there is kind of a copperized or bronzish kind of a accent. But the rest of it is the same. Steering wheel controls are the same. And the seat controls, like I said, are the same. The accents here is kind of this pill-shaped stitching. Over on the quad, you're going to see a quad, oh man, like a check mark or a, daggum, like a flannel. I can't think of it right now. Like a quilting. There we go. So just take a quick look at that, and now we'll go over, take a look at the second gen. Here we are back at the second gen, and the 3 cameras that I was talking about up in here, 1, 2, and 3, with blue accents now. And these Dune wheels do hide that caliper. I'm not even sure if you'll really be able to see it, but there is a blue caliper hiding off in there. So that is now what denotes the quad. The yellow calipers and stuff that were on the first generation quad now are shared with the second generation tri-motor. I don't know why they mixed that up. I don't mind the blue, but it does make for some inconsistency there. The only change you can physically see on the door is the second gen has like this little pill shape here. I think that's because that's where you touch it with the key card, but the first generation doesn't have that. So, and then when you pop it, it's like a solenoid's working or something, not sure. It just totally feels different. That's all I can say, is it does feel different. We're going to come inside. Like I said, those accents are kind of that burnt bronze kind of a look. Might be hard to see on camera, but it is slightly different. And the handle is gone. Now, truthfully, there is a handle hiding here, but to get out of the truck, you actually do push this button here. So that is a big change, a big departure from the first generation. The accent lighting works the same. It offers the same colors as the first gen. And then you can see this stitching that I was talking about, the way it's quilted and looks better, or I wouldn't say better, it just looks different. This is supposed to be the higher level trim package, and so you can kind of see a little bit of a difference here. That has the brown on the compass there. I guess that's to help tie in with those bronze accents that we were talking about. Jumping back to the first generation, we'll take a look again, that mechanical release. The back pretty much works the same. The screen appears to be the same. I'm not for sure saying, maybe it's got like a little bit different resolution or whatever, but as you will find in the second generation, this handle is going to be completely gone for the rear passengers. They will only have a button, and the way I understand it is there's like a release underneath that it's almost like a fire extinguisher. You got to break it to release it. So we will take a look at that in just a second. While we're here, we'll go ahead and pop up this rear. I put this little tether on, just kind of help pull that up, and it sure does help. We have an Adventure Supply, I think is who it is. No, Thunderbolt Supply, and it worked. We were able to pull it from the first generation to the second generation, so you'll see that over in the second gen now. But the shape is the same, the storage capacity is the same, the armrest is the same, the pass-through back there is the same, so all that stuff is pretty much unchanged. We will go ahead and close this up, and then let's take a look at the gear tunnel door while we're here. Same type of release, even whether first gen or second gen, but this is what I was talking about up in the frunk on the second generation. This is where your inflation kit is, and now over in the second generation, that's just a hollow hole, just like that, because this is up in the frunk these days. So I'm just going to throw that back in there. Other than that, it all works exactly the same, looks the same, and nothing else really to report there. Here we are back at the second gen. Gonna pop it open again, that easy open. I can't describe it exactly. Words almost don't do it justice. It's not that big a deal, but it is very noticeable. That's for sure. So as you can see, there is no handle here whatsoever. It's completely gone. Your rear passengers are going to get out with this button, which, I mean, to a degree that's nice. Now you can, instead of having you have to fiddle with something to lock the door so that the children aren't messing with it, you can just disable that up in the center screen and the kids can't get out. So there are pluses and minuses with that, but the layout's pretty much the same. We are going to see that the seat back is a little bit different, but still works the same, still stretchy in the back. This is the same kind of quilted stitching that we saw up front. And I'm going to go ahead and just flip this up. It does seem to flip up a little easier in the second gen. And this is that Thunderbolt Adventure Supply cover that I was talking about. We were able to move it straight from the first gen to the second gen. And that just gives you a level surface here if you want to maybe put groceries here or whatever. It does seem to work good, and you can pull it up, and it's got dividers and stuff. The little bamboos go right here to help, well, I'm not sticking them in, but they just go there to help keep it. If you were to have your dog here, that keeps the seat from trying to fall back and freak your dog out. So there we go, we'll put that back, but everything else works the same. The armrest the same, pass through the same, so all is good here. We'll take a look. Works the same, really nothing to see here, but an empty hole. That's about it. I put my high vis in there in case we were to have an issue on the highway and need some extra visibility. But that's pretty much the same. Let's go back to the first gen. Real quick look at the first gen. The lighting on the back is slightly changed now. I don't even know if you can really tell it. No, not really. But there is a change back there. Kind of like in the front, you got the bars that go across. You now have those in the back. And tailgate still works the same with the gooseneck. All that is exactly the same. This is a first generation. We talked about that, but this particular one is a 23-year model. We bought it in early 24, and it was when they were having a problem with the tonic. So we bought this Lomax carbon, aftermarket, and it's done fine. There's absolutely, it's a good looking piece, but the built-in, I am happy to have the built-in. We'll get that out of the way for just a second and access the spare tire. It works exactly the same on the second gen. They haven't changed that. This one here is going to hit, so kind of be a little careful there. Full-size spare in the adventure trim or whatever it is that the quad motor gives you. The same type thing. The second gen has got the full-size spare, but something they did between the first gen and the second gen, they've changed this. So this hard plastic here that everything kind of slid into and velcroed into, it was kind of chintzy. I mean, I don't mean that to sound horrible, but oftentimes when you'd go to pull this plastic out, there'd be like parts kind of laying in the bottom. They got away from you. That has now changed to foam, more like other manufacturers have been using for years. So that's kind of welcome. The only downside for me is I used this space. I had a 3D printed part that went back here and held all my towing gear and all that stuff. Now I'm going to have to rework. So that's a kind of a downside for me. But I think as far as a Rivian buyer, I think the foam is an upgrade over the plastic. We're going to keep all of our same stuff over here with our inflation station and our two locking ports. Those are the same between first and second gen. Absolutely no difference there. And then on the passenger side of the truck bed, we're going to have power. Again, same thing. We're going to see the exact same thing over on the second gen. We'll go over there and take a look at that real quick and keep moving around. Back here at the second gen, one thing you notice right off is the R1T. If it's a quad in the first gen, it just had a yellow line. Now it shares that same, I think they call that Laguna Blue, and now it says quad in there. So folks that know, they know. And the telltale sign, of course, is Gear Guard Gary here getting blown away. So that is a dead giveaway that you are rocking a second generation quad. Now, we are fortunate enough to have the built-in tonneau cover now, so that is very welcome. It's quite a bit quieter than it has been in the past. The way I understand is it's actually rolling up in there, whereas before it used to accordion in there, so they've made some changes there. You'd almost call this like a version 2.5 almost. But again, this is going to pop up and work the same way. I find it a little hard to get in there. All right, you can see though, now we're working with some foam. Everything is very secure. I do like that. But for me personally, I'm going to have to rework my towing getup. This vent is something that I'm assuming a vent. I don't really know what that is, but that was not on the first generation. So that's something that's just slightly different. Don't know what it is, but I can tell you it's different. All right, we're going to close that. Again, that looks exactly the same as it did over there. I don't see any change whatsoever. Now we'll slide over here. I'll make sure that my spare tire space is closed and power. So same, very little change right there. On the second generation, I've got the roadside lighting going, so if you were to have a breakdown or needed to help another motorist or something, you can kind of see how it walks across. It is a little hard to see in daylight, and it does tell you in the center console that it's better at night. But what that is just kind of showing, drive around. I'm going to switch it now because it can go left and right, so let me just switch it. So as you can see now, we're trying to direct traffic around to our driver's side to help folks get around us. And it's doing that same thing in the back. So with the second generation's new lighting package, you can do more with it now. So that's just one difference between the first generation, second generation. The first generation didn't have the capability to do that because it almost just glows like a neon light. It doesn't have the individual LEDs that are broken out like the second generation is. Here we are in the second generation, looking at the center. I don't pay for it on the first gen, but the Halloween release has come out, so you can kind of tell how far the first gen is going to get it. It might not be exactly the same, but it is going to get it. Since I don't pay for it though, it's not available yet. Whereas the second gen, I'm still on the trial of Connect Plus, I think it is. And so I've already got it. So you can kind of see that they've changed that screen just a little bit. That only applies on all purpose. If you change just, well, we'll do it. If we go to sport or something, it's not Halloween themed any longer. So it's only on the all-purpose screen that you get that. And I was going to show you the roadside lighting that we just took a look at is here in your quick menu, and it's roadside lighting. So it tells you can go driver's side, passenger side, or the center. And it just helps folks get around you. There are more things to do here. This is just new software. I don't think it's a difference for first generation, second generation, just the new software. You can hold a temperature now, like we've kind of always had the pet mode, but now it's just a hold. So if you were going to run in and maybe buy groceries and it's July and it's hot, you can get the temperature to hold while you're gone. And that way you don't come back to a truck that has warmed up so much. So it's available there. It's also available here. So I think most of this is the same. We did talk about the child door locks. So the back, you can lock those now just right from here. And the windows, you can kind of do the same. But now that has been available on the first generation as well. So those are kind of some of the changes that we see there. And the first generation didn't have the ability to cloud the overhead glass. And that button is right here. So I just turned it off and you can see through the glass now. And then while you're looking there, I'm just going to cloud it up. We all know this. We've seen it from YouTube. So that's nothing new there. But it just goes white. It goes like a foggy white. It doesn't go dark like a tinted window on the back glass. It just goes white. I don't think there's any other changes that I can think of here. In the newest software release, they did change this. You know, you used to swipe up, which I guess you still can, but now it's just like a hamburger button or whatever. And that, I think, is going to be a lot more intuitive to users to just know that, hey, there's something hiding there rather than the sticky button that we used to have. So anyway, I believe that pretty well covers it. I can't think of anything else. Of course, now with the sport mode, we get the ability to launch if you've got the second gen. We didn't have that before. And we will eventually have kick turn, which we don't have that now, but they say we're going to get. So kick turn is coming. And I think that's going to be somewhere in the off-road menu, but I'm not exactly sure where that's going to show up. But they're saying it's going to be kind of somewhere around here. So I believe that's got us covered now. I can't think of anything else. We will have the rad tuner. And I think that's going to be kind of maybe taking the place of this screen eventually, which will allow you to really deep dive in to a granular setting of every single thing. We'll see how that goes. So those are things that are coming down the pipeline. But for right now, I believe that covers all the differences I can think of between the first and second gen. I can't think of anything else right off. They're both great. I'll say they're both great. You'll enjoy it no matter which way you go. I believe that pretty well sums up the differences between the second generation and the first generation. Our first generation was El Cap Gray. We're rocking the Storm Blue for the second generation. The wheels, even though the wheel style has changed, the tire size hasn't, so there's no change there. And that's about all I can think of to show between the two. They both drive great. They both have excellent power. The increased power of the second generation kind of feels a little bit like a hat trick because you have to use like a launch mode to access it, whereas the first generation just had power all the time. I mean, this does have power all the time, don't get me wrong, but to get that full on that they're advertising, the 0 to 60 and way fast, less than 2.5 seconds, that you got to use launch mode or you're not going to get that kind of power out of it. So I believe that wraps us up. I hope that helps you understand the differences between the first and second gen because I hadn't been able to find a video that covered all this myself. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching.